Welcome back, guys, to another episode of All Things Single Seater. I am here with Jordan for the Silverstone review. How are you, Jordan?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Really good, really good. Just about caught up on sleep from the weekend. Getting home at 2 a.m. on Monday was not fun, but obviously at the race this weekend, so I can't really complain. What a race to go to.
Yeah, it definitely looked like the crowd was loving it from Friday practice. Yeah, it's definitely a highlight of motorsport.
Throughout the race, there was more laps where I was stood up than sat down. So, yeah, it was amazing. But let's start with the race. I guess the first thing we have to talk about is Guan Yu Zhou and our one.
Yeah, I think credit to Sky. They didn't show the replay at all. They didn't show Alex's. They didn't show Guan Zhou's, which was really good to see. Yeah, main thing is that they're okay. Lots of love and support from them, from other drivers, and it just brings the community closer together. Really, when something like that happens.
Yeah, definitely. It was just a mess how quickly the car spun, and flipped over as well. That was a bit crazy. Could have been a lot worse, I think. And I think George kind of feared the worst. Credit for George, like he got out of the car and quickly ran over to see how he was and try and get him out, which was just amazing to see. So yeah, just hope it doesn't knock their confidence for both drivers because they're both having a good season, and hope that they're fit and ready for the weekend. Really.
Yeah, definitely. I think George put his own risk at race. Put his race. Oh, don't!
That's going in. I'm not editing that out. Staying.
A few moments later.
He put his own race at risk. There we go.
Nice.
Getting out the car, turning off the car. I don't think there's many drivers who would do that. And it just shows what a gentleman George is.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think he can be disheartened because he definitely did the right thing, and it's just annoying that the marshals touched his car, really. But we can't really slate the marshals for all they do anyway, just throughout the time. So I guess we can kind of give them that.
Yeah.
I mean, the restart. Carlos Sainz was very aggressive with his defending. It was unbelievable for a first lap. All four drivers, I think, were super aggressive and probably on the limit, I think, especially going into turn four, going onto the back straight. I think Charles was very lucky to not get a penalty, in all fairness. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Obviously, he damaged his own front wing, but he damaged Sergio's too, so Sergio had to box. I mean, granted, it worked out for him in the end. I guess you make your own luck, but I think he was very lucky to not damage his car more, and yeah, to not get a penalty. Max, I think, was very unlucky getting that damage. Wasn't ideal for him. It kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, like, I'll admit, yeah, he was unlucky, but it isn't the first time a piece of someone else's car has got stuck underneath someone else's. Like, just get on with the race, like, type thing. There was a few laps where he was like, "Oh, I can't do this, I can't do this," and whatever, and it's just like, just get on with it, like.
Yeah. I think he's also still a very dirty driver, so, you know, karma.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that later. But I think we should start with Williams. My guy. I've never criticised this man in his life, and I'm his number one fan, Mr. Nicholas Latifi. Take a bow, son. Take a bow. Everyone stood up and cheered when he got through to Q2 and Q3. I mean, how?
Honestly, he doesn't do things by half, does he? Like, it was all like, yeah, Q2, Q2, and then we was like, Q3. Like,
He's saving it for one weekend.
yeah, that's it now. He's used it all up.
Yeah, yeah, he has. It was really funny though. After quali, there was the driver interview on the stage, and the interviewer was like, Also, so Nicholas, how do you feel about out qualifying Albon when he's got all the upgrades and you don't? And Albon's face was like, bruh.
Bro.
Yeah, it was quite funny, but no, I thought he had a good race. I thought I did. He was in the points for a long period of that race.
Yeah.
He was kind of helped that it was a bit of a DRS train, but you know he was on softer tyres than everyone around him at the start. But I mean, I think he had a very very good race.
He did. He was unlucky to score points, considering how many people were out. There'll be another time where there'll be that many drivers out, and you never know. Like last year, we had Hungary, and there was crazy amount of drivers out, and he scored points then. So it will more than likely happen again, but it's just a wait and see where it happens type thing.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting with when we get to France, Nicholas is going to have the same car as Alex, and the car did look quite good on Saturday practice 3, in the dry. So it will be interesting this weekend to see how much those upgrades have worked for Williams. Also, another good note for Latifi: the first start before the restart, he went from 10th to 7th before turn 1. What a launch that was! And then he obviously had to go back to P10, so that kind of sucked for him. But Aston Martin, they kind of had a nothing race. Like,
Okay.
Seb did okay. It was really nice to see him kind of like supporting Mick after the race. And yeah, he did well to get the points again. I wasn't expecting much from Lance, to be honest. And
No.
they were terrible in the wet. Yeah, fair play. Let's see what Austria brings for them, I guess. AlphaTauri.
They hit each other. What the hell?
That's on Yuki, I think.
Oh yeah, he admitted to it. He got a penalty. I don't know whether it was for that or another, because they hit each other twice.
Yeah.
And he took full blame, which is good on him. He didn't be like, oh well, it wasn't really my fault. Just the one rule is don't hit your teammate.
Yeah, I mean, Helmut Marko's called him a problem child. So, can we see Liam Lawson and AlphaTauri soon? Who knows? No, I doubt it. But yeah, a bit embarrassing. But oh well, scoreless round for AlphaTauri. But it wasn't a scoreless round for Haas. It was a double points finish for Haas, taken away with Mick.
Finally, he had a feeling it was going to happen at Silverstone. So yeah, there wasn't really much pressure around him, I don't think. And his family was there to see it, his mum and sister.
Yeah.
But hopefully that should now be a
Stepping stone.
Continuous thing, hopefully. He said just don't put too much pressure on him and then the points will come.
Yeah.
So everyone needs to back off. He can score some points.
Exactly. That's all we're asking, okay? That's all we're asking. But no, I thought it was great. I think Mick did pull off an amazing move around the outside of Magnussen at Luffield. I know, because that's where I was sat, and we were all cheering. It was fantastic. And then, obviously, battling Mr. Tin Pot title holder for Verstappen. Sorry, that was a bit harsh, wasn't it? But, yeah, battling Verstappen, I think Max should have got a penalty. He pushed him wide twice on the final lap, and then closed the door on the final corner. So, I don't know how he got away with that, really, because that was quite dirty, in my opinion, and didn't really need to fight that hard. I guess he wants points for the championship, but if Mick didn't back out, they were crashing.
Yeah, and that just proves the point that everyone has to back out round. And it can't be like that. Why should every driver back out because of that one driver?
But still, it was fantastic, and I think he knew he needed to get to the line as well.
Yeah.
So it was a good showing for Magnussen. I really liked how Magnussen took off his race suit for the photo, so it was all kind of like highlighted on Mick scoring the points. Even though K-Mag did score a point, he took off and he was in like the team kit. That was quite nice for him, really. Alpine,
Mr. Fernando Alonso. Where did he come from in like the final
Yeah,
and laps or whatever.
yeah, the safety car.
Sneaked up on everyone, and like he brought Norris along with him as well.
Those two were with each other all race, and I think on the final pit stops, Fernando jumped Lando. But no, it was great to see the pair of them really like up there, fighting for a podium at the end, because obviously anything could have happened really. Another P5, just fantastic. Lando P6, Danny Rick had no DRS, but even then he didn't look that great on the weekend. Ocon I felt was unlucky with the car going. Everyone cheered like crazy when they overtook Max. When he overtook Max. Also, everyone was booing every time Christine Horner was on the big TV. Like literally everyone. So
Love it.
That was pretty funny, to be fair. I think everyone just hates them both, and people were booing Max after quali, which I felt was a little bit harsh, to be honest. But
Don't understand why they're booing me though.
yeah, I know exactly. But the Dutch fans boo Lewis, so deal with it. McLaren and Alpine kind of had good races for one driver, not for the other. Ocon was unlucky. Danny Rick, we can kind of say he was unlucky, I guess.
The thing is, I really do not know what's going on here with him.
He's 33 now. He's old.
I read something earlier today. Andreas Seidel is quite keen on Mr. Oscar Piastri
Really?
for next year.
Oh, so Ricciardo replaced Webber, and now Piastri is going to replace Ricciardo. It's like Padawan stuff, and they're just stepping out of the way for the younger Australian. That'll be interesting.
It's not 100%. It's a what if, like, maybe scenario type thing. Yeah. I can see it. I could see it happening if Rick don't improve.
Yeah, he needs to. He really
How,
needs to.
how can Lando be in the same car, a car which is brand new to the both of them, because obviously new rules,
Yeah.
it's a new car to both drivers, and Lando be getting P6, P5, he's got P3 this year. Rick, he's on 15 points.
It's not great. He's behind K-Mag, isn't he?
Yeah.
He is. Yeah. It's really not great. I think some of it could be because he missed testing. Because we did mention that, didn't we, at the start, that it might be down to the fact that he missed testing. But now I don't think that can be an excuse. He's got to score points in the sprint and the race, I think, really.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be too over the top for him, really. I think Lando's probably going to do that. So
P10.
Well, yeah.
Sorry.
P8 and P10, but yeah, brilliant. No, but I think if we'd expect Lando to, so we've got to expect him to. Yeah, we've got Mercedes, haven't we? Fantastic from Lewis. I think he would have won that race had the safety car not come out.
I think so too. They've got pace. They've got quite a lot of pace now, and I think Ferrari and Red Bull need to watch their back, especially if there's a race like we had last week. I think he could have won that race, so I don't think it will be long till we see him on the top step this year.
No, you're right. They definitely, the upgrades are working, and it really means now that Red Bull and Ferrari can't fuck up, like, at all, because there is a team now that's ready to pounce. And I mean, Mercedes, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but aren't Mercedes pretty much the same gap back to Ferrari as it is Ferrari to Red Bull?
I think so.
So Ferrari need to, up their game, up their strategy calls, maybe. They need to have perfect weekends now, don't they? Even, like, they have to be scoring each week. I think they've got to go for it this weekend. I think it's a Red Bull OP track, if I'm being honest. So they've just got to get maximum that they can. What is your decision? Like, do you think they should have boxed Leclerc or Sainz? Go.
You boxed both of them. Because they wouldn't have lost out on position, really. Because everyone else boxed.
Yeah. Now, the argument is that Mercedes would have left Lewis out. And they would have done, because Lewis's tyres were much fresher than the others.
Yeah.
But those two Ferraris on fresh softs are easily getting past Lewis, in my opinion. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's an easy pass.
Yeah. If it was a Red Bull, if it was Max, different story.
Different, yeah, 100%. I feel like they threw away the win for Charles. Because he could have won that race as well. Know what Charles is like on the soft tyre. He's rapid. And look at what Carlos done. Made moves stick and then just went away with it. Charles said he needed to win that race. And it was the perfect race to win because Max wasn't on the podium.
Yeah.
Max had damage. They knew Max had damage from early on in the race.
And also, he's lost more points to Perez now, who's in P2. But I mean, this might be really controversial, but I think Sainz deserved to win that race.
Yeah, 100%. Don't get me wrong. He did deserve to win it.
Yeah.
But and so did Hamilton. So did Leclerc.
Yeah.
So.
But I think Leclerc threw his toys out the pram a lot because he kept saying how fast he was, right? Fair enough. That's fine. But pass him. Both of you are in the title fight. All of the top 4 are still in this title fight, realistically. I mean,
but he wanted to make it equal. Like, they said, like, didn't say don't fight. They said, we've told Carlos to see if he can hurry it up, get faster, do a better lap. And then he done a better lap, but then Lewis done a lap which was like 2 seconds quicker.
Yes. But when they swapped the drivers, did Charles pull away? No. And then when Lewis pit, both Ferraris were ahead. So at that point, because they said, we need to jump, we're going to swap cars because we're at risk from Lewis. So at that point, they should have swapped the drivers back because they made Charles get out of the way. So the Lewis threat had kind of gone at that point. He was catching, granted, and then obviously the safety car came out. But also, that's why I think Charles didn't deserve to win the race. Ferrari moved Sainz out the way for Charles, right? And Sainz was like, copy, didn't argue about it, let him through, go, brilliant. And then Ferrari said to Charles, keep Carlos in your DRS so that Lewis can't catch. And Charles pulled out by like 2 seconds. And then the safety car came out, and apparently it was too late. So apparently Ferrari also said that Charles was too far past the line when the safety car came out. So I mean,
Then you could argue that and be like, well, Carlos should have kept up with Charles.
Yeah, no, I could. There are two. Right, fine. There are 2 sides to every story with your logic, but I said it all last year with and I've done it this year with Red Bull in the team orders, with Perez in Spain and Baku. I just feel
that was a bit harsh, I think.
Yeah.
Red Bull, that was harsh.
Yeah.
For Ferrari, they've grown a backbone, but it's for the wrong driver. No offense, Carlos.
Yeah.
But from race number 1 this year, it was looking like a Charles versus Max championship battle. Whereas throughout like the season had gone on, Carlos was doing more and more mistakes, and he was like, "Oh, it's not my battle. It's not my battle." But now he's won a race and it's switched. Different story.
Yeah.
He's now in the battle.
Yeah. And he still has only finished off the podium in 1 race that he's finished. So all races he's finished, he's only not been on the podium once. So I think it is starting. I don't want to say it's starting to swing. I think Leclerc's on a bad run of form, but there's only 11 points between the 2 Ferrari drivers. I don't know. I'm just a big fan of if they're faster, they can pass.
I get that.
Don't expect your teammate to defend like a dickhead and like move over on you.
We've seen in the past there's risks of that.
And then Ferrari tried to get Carlos to slow down at the restart. Did you hear that?
They wanted him to build a gap to Charles, didn't they?
Yeah, and he said no, and he said he'd ignored
him. He grew a backbone.
Yeah.
And I love it. No one really says no to Ferrari.
No, I'm really glad. I'm really happy that he did get. And after the race, he said he'd do it again. He said if it meant he could actually win, he would ignore team orders again. So that's good. As long as he's still in the fight. And then Red Bull. I mean, Perez, what a comeback. People were saying, the safety car helped him, but he was still 4th. before the safety car came out. So he still got his way up to P4 from that wing change. So credit where that's due, I'd say.
Yeah.
And then Max kind of glossed over that. He defends like a dickhead. You can't really race wheel to wheel that way.
I feel like you come back from Silverstone, you have like an agenda against Matt. Because I came back from Silverstone last year and I had an agenda against Max then.
Well, that's a probable good reason considering what happened last year. But Austria this weekend, have you thought of your predictions?
I have, and we've got the sprint race returning.
Yes. So what are we doing? Top 5 for quali, sprint and
Race. Yeah.
Okay. I love it. What have you done for quali then? Go on.
So I've gone Leclerc pole, Verstappen second, Sainz third, Perez fourth, Hamilton fifth. So pretty normal. There is meant to be a bit of rain predicted as well for quali.
Latifi in Q3 again.
And, there's some rain predicted for Sunday as well. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I am gonna go Max, Sergio, Charles, Carlos, Ocon. It's happening.
Max, Sergio,
Carlos,
Carlos.
Ocon.
Carlos, Ocon.
Yeah. Do you want me to explain?
What's
Ocon doing there?
I just want to know, like, 1 to 5, what your reasoning behind that is.
What, all of them?
Yeah.
Okay. Straights are important, and Red Bull have the fastest car than Ferrari. Max is always spurred on by his home crowd, and Checo believes he can win the title. So there's 3 good reasons, and Alpine have been unbelievably quick on straights this year. That's it. That's my only thinking.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, moving on.
Go on. What are you thinking for sprint then? So how many laps is the sprint race?
Probably like 20, something like that.
It's going to be a lot, isn't
Maybe
it?
a bit more. Maybe 30. I don't know.
No, you're
It's
right.
like-
I said you're right, but I haven't actually checked yet. Sprint race is... It doesn't tell me. It just tells me when it starts. Great.
24 laps.
24 laps. Okay. That's a lot. And we'll get... So we could see mixing tyres then. Softs and mediums, because some will try and get the softs all the way to the end. But I think a lot will do mediums, potentially.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think some will do mediums, but depending on how hard they'll race, you could see them dropping back a little bit further. So, our top 5 for the sprint are
Okay.
Verstappen,
Yeah.
Perez, Leclerc, Hamilton, Russell.
Ooh.
I don't know where Carlos has gone, but I just feel like he's just going to fall a bit backwards.
Okay. Okay. Sprint quali for me is Sergio, Carlos, Russell, Hamilton, Ocon.
Whoa, 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 whoa. First of all, what happens to Max and Charles?
Okay, so basically, this is the race. This is the race that is going to change the championship. All right.
Ooh.
They're going to collide turn 1 in the sprint race. Okay.
Okay.
And
they'll be starting at the back for the.
And they'll be starting at the back or near the back. Like they might need a wing change or something, or spin and then have to fight back, but not finish that well in the sprint. That's my thinking, and that's what I'm going for.
Where does Russell and Hamilton come from? Because they're not in your top 5 for quali.
No, so they're going to be 6th and 7th, and they'll jump Ocon in the race.
Okay.
Yeah, you got it.
Right. Okay.
Oh my god, if this happens.
I'm not going to say it's about time they collide, but they will collide at least once.
I think Silverstone was like putting petrol on the fire, or like no,
Yeah.
like prepping it, and then
Yeah.
Austria is just going to ignite because lap 1 was, I think, very, very, very aggressive from all of them. So, well,
Anyway.
also the last race that those two collided properly, Austria 2019,
Ooh.
when Max pushed Charles over the curb. So could there be contact again? Yes, maybe. Potentially, who knows? That's what I'm going for. Race, what are you thinking?
Well, my prediction is clearly very different to yours. I've done Verstappen win, Leclerc second, Hamilton third, Perez fourth, Russell fifth.
Okay. I am going for, I think both drivers will have a solid comeback on Sunday.
Was I going to go for the race win?
Not quite, but I think it's going to be Sergio Carlos 1-2, and then it's going to be Russell, Max, Hamilton. P6 will be Charles.
Okay. I like your idea of Russell on the podium.
Yeah? Is that the only part that you like of that entire thing? Well, I guess time will tell, and Sunday I will be really smug and be like, yeah, I got it right, but I probably won't. That was our episode for tonight, guys. Thank you for watching as always. Who's going to be right on the predictions? Let us know in the comments, and we will see you next time.